Hello, welcome.
Hello and welcome. Hi, welcome.
Yes.
Hey and welcome. Welcome for the new people.
All right. So it's 9:30, time to officially start. We will start with actually without words and with a video.
Every day, do you see something wrong in the community you live? I know you think that's impossible to find viable solution. Have you ever heard about social innovation? Social innovations are new products, services or models that meet social needs, create social relationships and form new collaborations. Would you like to do your part but you don't know how? Making a change is possible. Join Social iMakers. Social iMakers is an education program that will help you design and build impactful and sustainable social initiatives. First, you will learn which ingredient you have to use for your social innovation recipe and how to cook them. During 2019, more than 7,500 people became social iMakers being engaged in the online and face-to-face trainings. And in 2019, the online program will amaze you. Second, you will have the chance to put your toolbox into practice. A virtual marketplace will be developed where social innovators and financiers will co-design brand new impacting initiatives. Then, social innovation challenges will be launched to solve pressing social problems in Central Europe. So, do you want to make a change? Become a social innovation maker. Stay tuned and follow us.
Yeah, welcome and good morning, everyone. So good to see everyone. It's especially very nice seeing people on camera. Welcome to our event online, but still we're together from all over Europe. It's cool to have such an international crowd here. Thanks for joining in. The topic today is boosting change through social innovation. I am Leo Söldner and moderate together with my colleague Markus, and we will guide you through the event today. What can you expect from this project? It's the final event of the Social iMakers project. What can you expect from the event? We will hear an inspirational speech, exchange experiences on good practice projects, and especially we will celebrate. It's the final event. We have a lot to celebrate, and I'm looking very forward to harvest strawberries with you.
Strawberries? What? Okay, we'll see about the strawberries later, I guess. I think Leo has an Easter egg here. So hi, welcome also from my side. I'm Markus Freche, also from Austria. We're both based in Vienna here. And great that you're all here, that you joined us. Now I head back to Leo for our welcome opening.
What are the next steps on our journey today? Exactly, it's the official welcome. We start with the host of this event, then hand over to the lead, the project lead, and then to a member of the European Parliament. We encourage you to use the speaker view so you can see the people who are speaking very, very big and clearly. So it's always nice to see people when they talk. So use the speaker view. It's on the right corner on top, probably you know already. Yeah, and as well, I encourage every one of the speakers and following to say hi and welcome in their first language if they want to, or different languages, just to get get the spirit of this international meeting. It's very nice of you. Then first, I welcome Manuela Vollmann. She's chairwoman of Arbeit Plus, Social Integration Enterprise Austria. It's an independent network of more than 200 non-profit, labor market-oriented social integration enterprises. Manuela, welcome. I hand over to you. Thanks for being with us.
Okay. Hi, hello, Leo. Thank you very much. Hi. I'm very, very happy to have you here. I'm sitting in my office in Vienna, and it's really a very nice day and sunny. Welcome to this conference. A very, very warm welcome and herzlich willkommen here for all of you for this final event of the Interreg project Social Innovation. My name, you heard it already, is Manuela Vollmann, and I'm the president of Arbeit Plus. Arbeit Plus is the network of social integration enterprises here in Austria. Even though we are unfortunately cannot host this event directly in Vienna, and I would say I live here in a lot of time. It's really a beautiful city. I'm sorry that you can't be here. As planned, we are very happy to have the opportunity to present the results of social e-makers and celebrate social innovation. We all are very interested in social innovation, and I would say it's necessary more than before. This shows us this big corona crisis. What does social innovation mean to us here in Austria at Arbeit Plus? Social innovation is a part of the DNA of all our members of Arbeit Plus. They are creating socially innovative solutions for labor market integration since more than 30 years. In particular, they constantly create new models and ways to enable participation in the labor market and also in the education system and also in society for general, at large for vulnerable groups such as long-term unemployed people, migrants, for example, and also women. They do so by providing counseling, training, as well as employment, and are quick to adapt to changing environments, and especially changing in economy. This became again particularly visible during this ongoing crisis. The goal always is to enhance inclusion and the capacity to act both for individuals, communities, and for the economy. Why we are so happy now to be part of this great project, I would say program, because it is really all over Europe. Why we are so happy to be part of Social E-Makers. It has been a pleasure to be part, I would say. The project gave a boost on our work on digital inclusion, which will be a very, very important topic. It is a very, very important topic, and it will be the most important topic for the years to come. Being a part of Social E-Makers gave us new alliance, and we are glad to have had the opportunity to work with many inspiring people, with many inspiring women and men. So we look very, very much looking forward to be also in the future in collaborations to come. And so I am very happy to be with you, but I also have to say that I have joined out a little bit, to get out a little bit earlier. I'm very sorry, but maybe I can come back to this conference, and now I wish you a very, very good conference, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Manuela, for your welcoming words and about presenting Arbeit Plus. Thank you very much, and thanks for hosting this event. Thank you very much. The next speaker will be Davide Fava. He is the project lead of Social iMakers project. He is joining from Italy, and yeah, so I hand over to Davide.
So good morning, Leo. Good morning, everybody. It's really a pleasure to be here today. Also, if Manuela is right, at the beginning it was foreseen to be physically in Vienna, and we are still struggling with this new option of getting in touch in a very virtual form, but we are prepared to do so. Today we will talk for 3 hours about the output and the results of the project Social iMaker that we were very glad to be part of. The project is a project co-founded by the Interreg Central Europe program, and it has been implemented by an amazing and skilled and generous partnership coming from many countries in Europe: Germany, Austria, Hungary, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Italy. And it was really, really a pleasure, and it was also challenging and very inspiring work with all these people, trying to do a very simple and easy thing that, as the title of the event of today, was easily trying to boost the change. What we tried to do in this very intensive 36 months was to share and develop tools that allow to support the change. But what kind of change and how we try to do so? I would share with you, as a starting point of the event, the overall logic that we try to follow and what we were really looking for during the project implementation. Because when we talk about change, we must focus on the kind of change that is impacting on our daily life and potentially could change our habit. So it's a changement that is determined by a strong interaction between public and private, between citizen, policymaker, and enterprises, but also between financier and social innovators. It's such a kind of changement that, as in the cartoon that has been shown at the beginning, support the young guys that is trying to play for a smile in doing something more, engaging all the community in supporting his own initiative. And such a kind of initiative became an activity shared and implemented by the whole community. This is what we, in a very simple words, think should be social innovation. So to boost such a kind of change, what we were thinking since the beginning is that a new language and a new grammar has to be set up and shared. A new language that should allow to work together different subjects with different perspectives and somehow also with a different approach to the thing that has to be implemented. What about trying to engage a local public institution and try to force somehow such a public institution in working with a private enterprise to develop something that impacts on the collectivity? Or defining a grammar that allowed to weigh and compare the value, not just in terms of economical value, but also in terms of social impact. Again, a language that allowed to assess and again to weigh the impact of the social initiative, but also the impact of the policies that should be implemented by a local or a regional authority to support the community. And also to evaluate and assess the collective impact of an enterprise that tries to change its community. So what we try to set up and to share and to teach in our training courses, but also to apply in our pilots, was such a kind of language and the grammar. A language and grammar based on the stakeholder engagement, the business modeling, the impact evaluation, but basically a grammar and a language that allow all of us to work together from different perspectives, trying to implement something useful for the whole community. So basically what I did for the last 36 months, and I'm quite confident that we all together will try to do also in the next period, was simply trying to boost the changement. And this is what we will try to share with all of you today, facing and try to explain which was the output and the deliverable that has been implemented, but mainly the toolbox that should be useful for each of us when we will decide to take part in our community development. So thank you very much to all of you for being here. I hope that we will enjoy to stay together for the next 3 hours, and let we go and try to share something together.
Thank you, Davide, for your welcoming words. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now I'm honored to present Gualmini Elisabetta, member of the European Parliament. Thank you so much for taking the time. You are as well on the Committee on Budget and the Committee on Employment and Social Affairs, which gives you like a perfect background for this event and for the welcoming words. Thank you so much for your time. I hand over to you now, Elisabetta.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's really a thank you, Leo, and I'm really glad to be here. And I really thank all the participants. I have seen that you are a lot, so it's really a pleasure to be with you this morning. So first of all, buongiorno a tutti, sono Elisabetta Gualmini e sono a Bruxelles nel Parlamento Europeo. So it's really a pleasure for me because, you know, also as an academic, my real work, my real job, in fact, is the one of academic. I have dealt a lot with welfare policies and social innovation. So it's a pleasure to take part to this final seminar of your Interreg project. I just would like to raise two main issues in the time I have. I've been told I've got 4 minutes, so I will try to absolutely be, you know, on time. So first of all, why I think that the social innovation is relevant, why we need really projects and research on social innovations. I think that there are at least 5 reasons why social innovation is an utmost priority in the political agenda, also at the European level. First of all, social innovation is a way to you know, promote and mobilize the active participation of citizens. So it is a way, you know, to close the gap between institutions and policymakers on the one side and the civil society or social organizations on the other. And we know that the quality of democracy really improves when you have large numbers of citizens who really take part to decision-making processes. So this is really a very first and important reason. Secondly, of course, social innovation is a broad concept, as you all know, but it is you know, in a positive way, a cross-cutting concept, which includes both the public and the private sector. So we need social innovation both in the public sectors, that is local, regional, national, European institutions, which are able to encourage not only economic activity, but economic activity which has a social impact and the capacity to respond to social needs. On the other side, we need a private sector which is able to experiment and to test social entrepreneurship, social responsibility, which is able to care for vulnerable categories, and so on and so forth. A third reason is that social innovation allows it to, you know, encourage social inclusion. So it is well known that social entrepreneurship is always very much connected to the idea to include in the labor market weak categories, the so-called vulnerable, fragile categories. So I think disabled people or people unemployed from a very long time, and people in psychological and physical disease. So we cannot renounce to social innovation because we have to improve and correct social inequalities, and we have to keep together the different segments of society. And fourth, social innovations, improves and is also a way to improve digitalizations, or social innovation can happen through digitalization. So I have seen your Skyrocket platform, I have seen your academy, and all you have dealt with. And so really the possibility to push up inclusion of citizens through the web, through high tech, through technologies, digital technologies, is extremely important because it is a much faster and a more effective way to include the people. And finally, I think that to have the possibility to solve, to offer social solution to social problems is really a way to improve the quality of democracy, to improve social cohesion. And in a period like this, we absolutely need to have a good society and the possibility to face the challenges that people and families will face. Secondly, the second issue I would like to raise is what the European Union is doing currently to face, on the one side, the social crisis, which is really rising and rising after the pandemic, and on the other, what has the European Union done in order to promote social innovation. Well, as you know, we are working a lot on the implementation of the so-called social pillar of the social pillar of the European Union. So we would like somehow to correct the unbalance between the economic dimension of the European integration and the social dimension. And so we are working on a minimum wage. We are working on a children guarantee, which could integrate the youth guarantee. We are working on, gender equality and pay transparency, especially for women. So we are deeply committed in pushing up the social dimension of the European Union. Secondly, within the so-called recovery fund, as you know, we are hoping that European institutions really face the crisis with a huge and solid, from a financial point of view, response to the crisis. Within the recovery fund, we are also promoting the social dimension. For instance, we have the so-called SURE program. The SURE program is exactly a program directed to care for the loss of job, and it is a sort of a social shock absorbers, a European social shock absorbers for the unemployed. And finally, we are working on the European Social Fund Plus, which should include and put together also the program for employment and social innovation, the Youth Employment Initiative, and the program for deprived people. And this European Social Fund, which is very much connected with what you do, should reach 100 billion, we hope. So we really think that Europe has awakened. So we are in a very crucial and delicate, political phase, social and political and economic phase. And I really hope that social innovation will really be at the center of the European agenda and will have many concrete consequences. So I am absolutely available to confront with you also in the future if you ever need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisabetta, for your welcoming words. Thank you for your time and as well for your good work in the European Parliament. And thank you so much for being here. So I hand over to my colleague, Markus, for the next steps.
Thank you for these nice welcome speeches. Everybody, feel free to put any comments, observations, gratitude, further ideas in the chat. Since in the plenary, we have already 64 people joining, so only one can talk, of course, but it's nice if we also have a back channel in the chat where we share ideas, comments, etc. Welcome also to people who joined in the meanwhile. We're 64 now already. Thank you to the welcome speakers also to keep the time. In these online events, timing is of the issue often, and we have a very dense program. We also want to give a chance to participants to work in breakout groups. So thank you for always keeping everything short and to the point. Excellent. I want to very shortly introduce the team. So Leo and myself, you already got to know. Then there was one person who's an incredible dynamo and engine behind this event and a lot of things in this project. Marcela Bono from Arbeit Plus. Can you shortly
Hello,
say
everybody.
hi? Yeah, hi Marcela.
Nice to have you here.
And her colleague, also Martina Könighofer, also from Arbeit Plus.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Martina. Martina and Marcela will also take care of the chat, answer to your questions, etc. Then we have our technical guru imported from Italy, my friend Jan Lai.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
He's our technical host, and he's the one sharing the slides and videos, etc. And then we have Olaja Gonzalez from Galicia. What are you doing, Olaja?
Hello. So in this meeting, first of all, welcome everyone, and I'm very happy to be part of this great team. Here, what I will be mainly doing is to be visualizing the contents and the discussions of this online event. And for this, I would like to very quickly share my screen to show you a sneak peek of what I am going to be doing during the next 3 hours. I'm with my iPad here. I have 2 accounts, one with my face, another one with my iPad. And every now and then I will be sharing a little bit these visualized inputs and messages and quotes and happenings of this event. And I think it should be sharing. It will be just a sneak peek for you to know what I will be up to.
At the moment, we don't see anything. Okay, no, it's coming now. Great.
There it is. Exactly. So right now there is only a very little part of what this meeting is going to be. So hopefully by the end of our meetup, this page will be filled with information. So I'm very looking forward to it.
Thank you, Olaja. I hope Manuela, Elisabetta, and Davide are okay with their representation. And yeah, Olaja will make a graphic harvesting of the main things that are happening today. And of course, it will be shared with all of you, same as the video and other outcomes. Great. So the agenda today, it was sent out beforehand. And just to go through the main things again. So we started at 9:30. We had the nice welcome addresses by Manuela Vollmann, Davide Fava, and Elisabetta Gualmini. We will proceed with some highlights of the project. And then it's time to give floor to participants also. So then at 10:15, roughly, we will have first round of breakout groups. We're in small groups of 6 persons. You can exchange a bit ideas on social innovation. We will have a short break. And then we will have an inspirational speech by Joana Breidenbach from betterplace Lab. At 11:20, and after the speech, also some Q&A session. So you can ask questions and she will answer and give some feedback. At 11:20, we will present 5 practices, inspiring practices, success stories from the project also, and see what can be learned and transferred from this as another achievement of this project to be proud of. And coming towards the end, after a short break at 12, in the last half an hour, we will have some closing statements and a toast to social innovation and a little feedback. So we hope to be able to close at 12:30, which is a lot of time, of course, 3 hours online, just 2 short breaks, a very dense program. So we hope we can keep you. We tried to make it interactive, varied in terms of methods, but yes, there will of course be quite some inputs also, because it's also to showcase and highlight the achievements and successes of the project, as this is the final event. So I hope we will have an enjoyable time until 12:30. And with this, it's time to look at some of the highlights and achievements So again, I recommend that you have the speaker view, because we have chosen three achievements, highlights, special aspects of this project to be shared. And most of you know about these. It will not be big news. So instead of explaining it in long detail, we chose another format. And each of these three chosen highlights is shown first through a picture. We asked the presenter to choose one picture from a selection we gave them, and to then tell you, what is the highlight and success story, the highlights, the achievement they present, and why they choose this picture. So what it represents and why they are proud of this achievement and what could be learned or transferred. And just short and sweet. It will be maximum 4 minutes per person. So further details on these achievements can of course be found on the website, etc. All right, let's see which one is the first one. We prepared this also. So the first one is the Social Innovation Design Toolbox, and it will be presented to us by Patrizia Baffioni from Roots of Impact from Germany. And Patrizia, to represent the Social Innovation Design Toolbox, chose this picture. Yeah, a little guy on his bike approaching a ramp.
Yeah, good morning,
Patrizia.
everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Marcus. Indeed, I was in charge of coordinating this huge endeavor of creating and developing the Social Innovation Academy, which is an introductory course to social innovation that we have created within the partnership. And it's truly a blended learning experience because it had both an online and in-person training component. And the reason why I chose this image is actually twofold. First of all, when we started designing the online course, it really felt like getting up on a very steep ramp. We had the challenge of coordinating with 6 different partners from 6 countries, each of them with their own procurement rules, their own different writing styles, and also a different understanding of how to develop an online course. So that was a first challenge. And on the other hand, I thought this image really represented what the Social Innovation Design Toolkit is about, is because it's an introduction to social innovation. So if you think of the participants and the people who are taking this course, it was really to provide the first tools to people who potentially heard for the first time about social innovation, and they were willing to initiate their social innovation endeavor. So again, going up the steep ramp. In terms of achievements, I think we can say this course was successful, as we had more than 3,000 people subscribed and over 1,500 people participating in the on-site trainings. But what personally made me very proud of what we have achieved is all the feedback we received through in-person interactions, but also comments on the online platform, which were thanking us for the great content that was created, and also receiving feedback from several organizations which were asking to host our content or to reuse the content for their own purposes or integrating it into their own curricula. So I would say these are the key highlights on my side. If you are curious about the Academy and you haven't explored it yet, I can also add the link to the Skyrocket platform where the Academy is currently hosted. And last but not least, just a big shout out to everyone who contributed to this online course. That was really a true team effort, so thanks to everyone.
Thank you so much, Patricia. Wonderful. Thank you. Next, we have the Skyrocket Platform by Dorota Nowicka from the Cooperation Fund Foundation. What can you tell us about this, Dorota? Why did you choose this picture? And what are you proud about? What could inspire others?
Okay, hello to everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this short speech which I will have about Skyrocket Platform. So the answer is why we choose this picture. The colorful hand on the background of the sky. It somehow resembles the features of the Skyrocket Platform. The hand, if you see, the hand is open in a welcoming gesture. And the Skyrocket Platform is an international marketplace, which is open space for wide range of users. The platform is dedicated to policymakers, to innovators, to social entrepreneurs, to investors, and also to just regular citizens. Another thing is that somehow these colors, they, as you see, they're intertwined, they interact with each other. And the Skyrocket platform was created for enabling such a cooperation, such a interacting between different stakeholders. So on the platform, you can introduce your social problem, you can offer different solutions to the challenge, to the problem. So you can show also your social innovation, which you developing, for example. So practically you have a possibility to introduce social innovation in different ways all around the Europe, or even I would say all around the world. And another very important feature is what Patricia was talking about. It's the possibility of just gaining the knowledge about social innovations, how to create social innovation, because we host the Social Innovation Academy on the platform. Another feature which is similar to Skyrocket platform from this picture is the different colors. These different colors, they remind us about the different potential of Skyrocket users. Via platform, you can find different kind of entities, like innovators, like partners, clients, investors, and they may come from different kind of businesses. They can be NGOs, they can be social entrepreneurs, they can be regular business, public, non-public bodies. What also is very important for me, that these colors, this on the palm, there is so many colors, and they interact, and they create very nice, impressive image. And we believe also that interaction and cooperation between different organizations, it also brings something better and gives better results. And we believe that this platform will serve as a tool for such a cooperation between entities from different countries, from different environments. And this all together makes all this ecosystem of social innovations stronger and more visible. And the question was this, what I'm proud about this tool. Well, as Elisabetta Gualmini said, the digitalization is very, very important in the world of social innovations also. So I'm proud that we, together with other partners, which I am very grateful, because we created this tool all together, because we join our capacities as these many colors. We cooperate with many organizations in frame of Skyrocket in frame of Social Maker project. And I believe that we created such a tool which will last for a long time and will serve for different environments, and will create a lot of possibility to develop social innovations in Europe and around the world. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dorota, for this very inspiring speech also. And the last achievement and highlight we want to share with you is ta-da, the community strategy. And here, Barbara Glinsner, who will present it, shows a puzzle. Barbara is from the Center for Social Innovation in Austria. Barbara, what can you tell us?
Yes, so hi, also from my side. It it's very cool to see what we actually did during the project. Sometimes you lose track of it if you're in the midst of it. But I chose the puzzle because we were building this community strategy to advance social innovation, social entrepreneurship in Central Europe. And just like a puzzle piece, you need a whole set of different actions and measures that need to come together in order to create like a good ecosystem that allows social innovation, social entrepreneurship to flourish in Central Europe. And that's why I think this analogy fits very well. During our strategy building process, we focused on 4 topics: education for social innovation, collaboration, finance in the sense of public procurement, and impact assessment. And what we also can see, and what I like about this picture is, you can see if you look at the puzzle pieces that some of the colors are in very different puzzle pieces. So you find a glimpse of yellow in every other puzzle piece. And this is also true for the actions and measures that we developed. If you talk about public procurement and policy, for example, you also need to think about the ecosystem for social finance. And you need to make it interwoven and entangled in order to really have a good community strategy and to advance social innovation in Europe. And what I'm most proud of is that we were able, the whole partnership was able to engage more than 70 external experts who helped us to create this community strategy together. And I would like to thank the partners for all their efforts in engaging external experts and of course the experts themselves.
Thank you so much, Barbara, underlining also how much it was a collective enterprise. So we had these 3 highlights of achievement: the community strategy, the Skyrocket Platform, and the Social Innovation Toolbox. Thanks a lot for this. There was a lot of input now from our side, so time to discover who's here. We have 63 people. Let's discover each other, Leo.
Yeah, I would invite and encourage everyone to use like the gallery view so you can see as many videos and pictures as possible. And if you would turn on your camera, it would be super awesome and nice so we can see each other, because now we want to connect, we want to exchange, we want to introduce or connect deeper if we already knew each other. Because it's such an international crowd, it's nice to use this chance. Yeah, I just put it briefly into the chat. Now, please click on the link. There is a link to flashcards to different pictures. Open this link, please, and then look through the flashcards and pick and choose a card which represents social innovation for you best. Which card can you connect most to social innovation? Just think for yourself. Just pick one. You can as well click on the picture in your browser and download it if you feel like. Because now we will have randomized breakout groups of 6 people. And then you can introduce yourself in the small breakout groups, introduce yourself, where you're from, which organization, what background, and then especially share the picture and why you choose it and why you connect this picture with social innovation. Has anyone clicked the link? The link is in the chat. Open the chat window when you go on the button below with your cursor, with your mouse cursor, and there's the chat symbol. Open the chat, and then there is the link. On the screen share, you see the pictures, and this you should see in your own browser as well. You need it for the breakout session. And just help each other out in the breakout groups as well. You can screen share, like one of you can screen share like the pictures, and you can talk about which one you choose and introduce yourself. Yeah. Then I would say, let's start connecting and the breakout groups. It will be groups of, I would say, wait a second.
6 people.
Yeah,
as planned.
It will be 6 again. Yeah,
5,
sorry, I just seen at the group something else.
6.
Perfect. Yeah. Then let's start the breakout sessions and see you back after the break it will be like at 10:50. We all meet here again in the main room.
At 10 to 11, everybody's back.
Enjoy the breakout sessions. See you then. Welcome back after the coffee break. Thanks for joining again the plenary, the big meeting room. Thanks for being on time after the coffee break. We have some energizer for you if you want to. For this energizer, you could switch off your camera if you feel like, or you can switch it on however you feel like, whatever is your type. You don't need to worry. You can do whatever you feel like. The energizer is like, right, start with your left hand. It looks like the right one. It's confusing. And write the word innovation, like and then the other hand. Write again. And now it do it with your feet. Start with one feet. Write innovation with your toes in the air. And the other feet, innovation. Thanks for joining the very quick energizer. Thanks for activate yourself again. I hope you very much enjoyed the breakout groups, that you introduced yourself, that you connected or reconnected if you have already met, shared background, shared some details about your organization you're from, and good practice experience if there was time for that and you wanted to do. I hope you enjoyed the breakout sessions. Thank you so much for being back. And I hand over to Markus.
Yes, it's time for another highlight of this program today that is full of highlights. We have the great honor now of having Joana Breidenbach with us to deliver an input on inner and outer dynamics and systemic changes required for social changes. Joana Breidenbach is a social and cultural anthropologist and co-founder of betterplace.org, which is Germany's leading fundraising platform for projects in civil society, and also founder of Better Place Lab, a think tank that focuses, among other, on social digitalization. And you can find also many TED Talks of her on YouTube. So it's a great honor we have Joana with us. And I encourage you that while Joana gives her inspirational input, that you can use the chat to put any questions you would like to ask Joana, or any feedback or any comments that resonate in you while with what Joana is saying. And my colleagues will go through the chat, and after Joana's input, we have 8 minutes for Q&A. So we will see what you put in the chat in the meanwhile, and there will also be the option to ask some live questions or give some live feedback, but also 8 minutes. So with this, I'm very happy to pass the floor to Joana. Thank you for joining us, Joana.
Okay, thank you for having me. Actually, I'm speaking to you from my holidays. I'm in Südtirol and South Tyrol in northern Italy right now. Not on the mountain, but here in my hotel room speaking to you. So it's a pleasure to reconnect again. I've met some of you last year in Vienna when I gave a talk there. So what I want to focus on, and I don't have much time for, a huge topic, is the question of what do we need for social innovation to be effective. And I have like 4 different parts to my little speech. And I want to start with, where do I see that we are currently in society and in history? And because for me, that is really important to situate myself, to know also what is required of me as a social innovator. And I believe that we are really, and this is nothing new to most of you probably, that we are really in the middle of this massive transformation from an industrial area where the nation state was the main guiding actor to a world which is very digital, very global, and where most of the problem we face is that most of our present structures in the economy and the political system and in society were designed in a very different era. Were designed in the in the 19th century and in the until the mid 20th century, and they really don't fit the requirements anymore of our very different and also very fast changing world. You know, just look at the way most of us work. We work in hierarchical organizations, which are, in my belief, really inadequate to respond flexibly and quickly enough to not only cope with, but really actively shape our digital, very decentralized world. And also when you look at social security systems, they were designed mostly after the Second World War, where we had this huge, massive innovation in welfare state structure, but our world is a different one. So in this vacuum, and I think that's where my sense of urgency comes from, in this vacuum between the old structures and the new, which haven't emerged yet, we see some highly problematic developments. We see people, we see political strongmen in many, many countries emerging, who want to take us back to the national era. We see tech innovators who are innovative, but who also design a world and are free to design a world very much aligned with their own interests and their material needs, and their often very dystopic vision of the world. And we also have this alarming polarization in our societies. So I get lots of sense of urgency because I can see this huge stretch between the old, largely dysfunctional system and the new one which wants to emerge. And so I find that there's a lot of pressure in the world and also on all of us. And obviously, my idea is that we really do need an update to our political system, to our economic system, where we create, wealth and well-being within planetary boundaries. But also, we need to look at how are we going to organize our society in a different way. And that's, where we come together today, because, we are all concerned about social innovation. And in many ways, I'm really excited by what I've seen in the last 2 decades in this space, because we really have seen a new social innovation in a larger scale than ever before. I remember when we started betterplace.org in 2007, we felt that we were one of the very, very few people on this earth who were using digital technologies for the common good. And now when I look at the social innovation space, when I look at social businesses in the whole of Europe and in the whole of the world, actually, I see that there is such a new, vibrant landscape around. And it's really, really exciting. But at the same time, I also see many challenges, because I see many people being attracted to this new field of social innovation, but it's still nowhere near mainstream. We don't have a strong public voice. We create far too many isolated solutions, and we are not bringing really the massive change we need in the world. Just imagine asking in the street people about what kind of innovations they know, and they probably will know about like the sharing economy, like Airbnb, or they will know about the gig economy, like Uber and all of that. But, they probably won't be able to tell you any approach of how to deal with the, loneliness epidemic in Western societies, how new approaches to caring for maternal health in African societies, or how we can better deal with homelessness in our cities. And so I feel that social innovation is still very much under the radar and really not as effective as it could or should be. So, well, why is that? And what can we do about this? And I want to offer you my perspective as part of the answer. And I'm going to start with a quote which I've known for a long time, but I never really understood what Einstein meant by this. And I mean, I don't know even whether it's his quote, but it's attributed to him. And that's the saying that problems cannot be solved with the same mindset that created them. And so I really have come in the last few years to believe that we really need to look not only at the external stuff which we are dealing with in the world, but that we really need to look at our mindset, that we need to have a much larger, more systemic and more holistic perspective onto social change. And I want to show you, and there I'm going to do a very short screen share, one model which for me has been really influential of how I understand social innovation and what we need to do as a society in order to create more systemic change. And this is my slide. Okay, so, and some of you who were present at the seminar in Vienna will know this, maybe will know this slide. So when I look at social change, I used to look only at structures and processes. And what this 4-quadrant model does, it creates a much more systemic, much larger vision of where we need to work when we want to create change. So my own organization, 6 years ago, I abolished myself as the boss, and we abolished all kinds of management layers, and we transformed our team to work in a very radical, self-managed way. And we started by only creating new structures and processes. And, looking at how are we going to make decisions in the future when there's no boss, how are we going to negotiate salaries, and all of these external things. And we realized that really that wasn't working, because we do need to look at many different other facets of life, and this model depicts them quite nicely. Because if we are going to change something, and that could be the change we are involved in our own organizations, if we create new business models, if we create new services, new goods, we very likely look at this lower right quadrant, the structures and processes. And what we don't really take into account consciously is that we need to also work on our individual behaviors and the competencies, but also very strongly on this inner side, on all of what is on the left. So we realize that if employees are supposed to work like bosses and, like the CEO of companies, we need to grow psychologically, we need to mature, we need to look at our own and reflect on our own attitudes and our own psychological makeup. What do we need? We need to have more inner clarity. We need to be more oriented in society. We need to have new communication skills. And for me, this was really very important understanding, that I think we in society tend to look far too much at, the external changes, and we don't really take into account who are we as human beings and what do we need really in order to be more empowered, to be more forceful, and to grow into the new systems which we want to create. So I'm going to stop this right now here. And I want to give you one more example of why I think that it's so important that we focus more on this inner dynamic and this mindset questions. And that is because, when you look at the conditions for how we live in this world, they have radically changed in the last few years, especially when you look at where do we get stability from as human beings. We as human beings need stability and security in order to function well. And we also need to have the freedom and the space to innovate, to co-create, to grow. But these two elements, this sense of belonging and this sense of becoming, really need to be in some kind of creative, dynamic balance with each other. Now, in our life, a lot of stability we used to get a lot of stability from the outside world. We got stability from hierarchical models where bosses told us what to work on and that, who praised us maybe. And we also got a lot of stability from maybe working in a company for a very, very long time. And also our political systems used to be fairly stable, at least more stable than nowadays. So now, with a world which is much more volatile, much more fluid, much more decentralized because of digitization, globalization, and also now because of, a global epidemic, we need to get this sense of security and sense of belonging from somewhere else. And if we can't get it from the outside world, we need to get it from our inside. And so that's why I've come to understand in the last few years, navigating in much more volatile and uncertain environments, that really these inner competencies are more important than ever. So, we as a team, we learned that we, in order to be effective as social innovators, we really need to know ourselves better. We need to be more clearer about what is important to me, what are my values, what motivates me. If nobody in the outside world is going to tell you what to do, then you need to be in touch with your own self-motivation. And so I feel that one of the really important things we have to do, if we don't want to just be completely overwhelmed by the change which we see in the world, is to grow and to become more grown up in who we are, because we can't orient ourselves so much in our social environment, because there people are also overwhelmed. So this focus on inner aspects of life for me really was a huge revelation, and I now really tend to, when I look at the kind of skills I want to develop and the kind of change I want to see in the world, I have shifted my focus much more on the kind of, I do less in the outside world. I actually do less, but I try to feel more, be more in touch with myself, be more in touch with my colleagues, be more transparent in my communication, and also develop these new reflective competencies, which allow me not to be completely taken up by a situation and be overwhelmed, but really to stay on top and to look at a situation more from a bird's eye perspective, and see patterns, and see more systems. So I want to just, at the end of my talk, I want to end with 5 ideas which I want to give to you, 5 hypotheses regarding social innovation, and regarding especially the kind of mindset which I feel are productive for sustainable and successful social innovation. I feel as social innovators, we need to be more holistic. We do need to design new structural elements, of course, but we also need to consciously include the inner subjective experience of us as innovators, but also of the people who we are working with and for. We need to have a better understanding of their subjective experience of the world, their needs, their interests, and the filters through which people see reality. That's the first one. The second one is we need to develop, I think, a focus on multi-perspectivity. The world is so complex. There are so many different perspectives coming together. And if we want to design solutions which are adequate for this complexity, we also need to include these perspectives and not only say, well, my perspective is the right one. That's not going to work. I myself see this as quite a big challenge. We at Better Place work with very many different people who have different mindsets, different criteria for success, different understandings of the world. And we constantly need to translate between the needs and the worldviews of our funders, of the people we work for, of the administrators we try to scale our innovations through. And we really need to have a sensitivity about these distinct cultural environments and the value systems behind them, and to translate between them. The third one is, I feel that we really need to understand social inclusion not as a task which the socially decoupled need to do, that we need to integrate them or they need to be integrated, but that we have to understand this as a transformation of society as a whole. And I think that's a really big challenge, but for me, it's the only way forward. And fourthly, I feel that we need to address questions of power often much more forcefully, that we need to really challenge the distribution of power and overcome also the prevailing dichotomies between I am the helper and you are the one being helped, or you are the beneficiary, and be willing to transfer power. Also from, and that's not easy to also see where am I in my current position as a social innovator, holding power, and what could I really give to other people. And I feel that we need to focus on relationships much more, not only structures and new processes, but human relationships, and that we need to pilot new forms of belonging and community, and also develop a more, what I would call, a spiritual sensitivity, and strive for a more dynamic, lively, alert culture, which addresses questions of life which we very often put a taboo on, you know, like death, suffering, love, spirituality, God, you know, all of that. So, and I want to end with one idea, which is also really dear to my heart. And that is, you know, we can do all of these amazing things in the world, but I feel we firstly also have to look at ourselves. And there is, in my perspective, a real crisis of well-being in our sector, in our organizations, where we have lots of really tough working conditions, where we tend to self-exploit ourselves a lot, and where I think we all have to start a dialogue and a discussion about really what do we personally also need in order to be able to respond adequately to the world outside there. Because, you know, there are many statistics and studies which show that people working in social sector are very often, you know, suffering high rates of depression, of drug, you know, mild drug abuse probably, you know, but just to you know, to constantly drink alcohol to relax. Many of us are working with extreme scarce resources. And so that is not creating a culture of well-being. And how can we do good if we are not well ourselves? So for me, that is a really important task, and we have started to do that in my organizations, and also now just recently got funding after 2 years of fundraising for a program which looks at exactly that. How can we create a culture of inner well-being in social sector organizations, also to empower us to collaborate better and to create more effective systemic change. And that's where I'm going to end. Thank you.
Wow, Joana, thank you. I guess our graphic recorder can use a whole canvas for your speech. That was fantastic. So much inspiring content. But if I may say, not just the content, also your bubbly passion for the issues, very inspiring and contagious. Wow, thank you so much. There was a lot going on in the chat also, positive feedback, inspiration, questions, etc. So we have, unfortunately, only little time. We could make a whole webinar with this speech, of course, but we have now some minutes for some questions and feedback. I see Judith Püringer raised her hand. Judith, what is your question? What is the feedback you would like to give?
Yes, so thank you, Joana. This was really inspiring. It was the second time I could listen to a talk of yours. So at the beginning of the project, you also gave a very inspiring speech in Vienna. And thanks so much for coming back to some of your arguments and also being so passionate about it. I love that you quoted Einstein. I knew this quote, of course, but it seemed a bit old-fashioned. But now you gave a new future perspective on this quote, so I really love that. Yes. I love the idea that when we talk about social innovation, we have to not only talk about structures and processes, but also about, you called it sense of belonging and becoming. I really love that. And then again, yes, we work with long-term unemployed people. We work with people who are experiencing poverty and social exclusion. People who are denied access to social rights. And so my question would be, how can we, in a way, or where is the mechanism where we can, you know, build structures and build processes that provide or that guarantee this possibility of well-being, of you know, of this sense of belonging. So in a way, I have this feeling it's not either or, but it's in a way both. So we have to combine the question of finding structures and also talking about rights. And you said also talking about power, which I find also very, very important in the topic, and power relations. And how can we combine these two mechanisms? So are there any experiences you might share with us?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big question, but thanks. I mean, I can give you maybe two little hints of what I would understand. So I'm working in Berlin. We are working together with an organization called Karuna. I don't know whether you know them. They are working with homeless decoupled youth. And I find them so inspiring because they completely have broken down this boundary between we are part of this is who we are as an organization, and these are our clients in a way, because they really incorporate them in their work on an eye level, which is so radical, which when you listen to it, you think this could never be done, but it can be done. Yeah, so they have given youth, a homeless, a radical, really an important voice in their board, for example. And really take it serious. So that would be like a structural aspect. And they're called Karuna Sozial Genossenschaft. So maybe you want to check that out. And the second part would be that, what I observe in their organization is that they have this way of, the people who work there have a way of really showing up as whole beings, as whole persons, and they don't present themselves as having a solution, but they are very, very deeply human, so they will also tell, very openly speak about their challenges, their vulnerabilities, when they feel that they are lost, so they don't pretend to know it all, but they are much more open, transparent, and unready than normally, than we would present ourselves normally as professionals. And so maybe this is, this would be part of it, that you allow a much wider spectrum of being in your organization and also in the work, where we have these I would say, very old-fashioned ideas about what it means to be professional, always to show up only with your sunny side up. But of course, that's not what life is. And if so-called beneficiaries know about your own struggles, it's so much more, it's so much more right, in a way, and so much more effective if you meet each other on that human level.
Thank you so much. We have a lot of questions in the chat, but only 4 minutes left. So
okay, I will answer very, very short.
I just want to tell you there's a very positive feedback. People write, I totally relate to that. Thank you. Thank you very, very much for your words about the need for inner perspective. So yeah, a lot of people can relay what you just talked about. I just pick one question. Could you tell me more about the fourth question of power? How can we change those relations and dependence on a grassroots level? Yeah, how to approach that in a new way?
Well, I briefly said that we moved from hierarchical organization to self-management in my company. And I realized that, now really it's the team which is in charge, but we don't talk about who owns the company. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think in this whole new future of work development, working much more agile, I want to have a discussion about, who are the real shareholders and the owners of these companies. Yeah. So that for me would be a question of power. And now I'm trying to, it's not so easy because I have in my board many older white men who don't think that, they see communism where, I see a co-ownership. And so I think that would be one element for me, and really to give up decision-making power, and really to say, yes, I transfer that power to you, and not I delegate it, but I can take it away any moment you make something which I don't like. So that would be a short one answer.
Something else, Leo? Maybe do we have something else from another question?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah? Maybe we should made the COVID-19 crisis and its learning help us to organize our society in a better way? Just maybe want to catch up on recent situation?
Yeah, I think, of course, this was like we pressed the pause button in society. And I think that's always a good sign, because we can always just stop and reflect. And I see both elements. I see right now that people are really changing because they have a different felt experience of life in many ways. And they realize, well, actually, all these bullshit jobs which earn a lot of money, they are not really good for society, whereas there are so many other jobs which are really essential. And so I feel that a lot of things have fallen into place in a healthy way. At the same time, I see many powerful, forces which just want to grab as much power back again, and which are very, very afraid that the status quo is going to change. So, it's a tough battle, I think, we have ahead of us. And so, yeah, so it's not it's not automatic that, we'll move to this other side of the transformation, which I feel we probably all agree that we have to go there.
Thank you so much. There's quite some more in the chat, but we ran out of time. So Joana, we will, you can go through the chat yourself, and we will also make a summary for you if you're interested in knowing what was triggered, what was associated in people. And yeah, if you feel like some things you would want to answer in written, we can also send it out afterward. But thank you so much, really, for this very passionate speech.
I'll look at the chat, and maybe I will respond individually to some of the things where I see that I've got to say something. Okay?
That would be lovely. Thank you so much, Joana. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Have a really good end of your meeting. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Joana. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Servus. Okay, so time also to have to focus back on our group. For sure, lots of inspiring things here. What will we do next, Leo?
Yeah, I want to get more to the interactive part again. And I mean, this questions was interactive too, but even more involving and yeah, getting active. But first, let's look at the graphic recording and what we harvested so far, because it's very beautiful to follow Olasha's drawing and to see how this event is growing knowledge and exchange. And thank you so much as well for the inspirational speech. It's super nice. Yeah, it's. I mean, you can see for yourself. Everything is in there, and so many different approaches, and yeah, perfect. And having the holistic approach, yeah.
Very small to read, but in the end of our event today, Olaja will have some minutes to walk you through it, zoom in so we can better see it, and of course it will be provided in high resolution to all of you afterwards.
Perfect. Yeah, I already mentioned it's getting interactive. There will be breakout sessions soon again. What will the breakout sessions will be about? It's about success stories and inspirational social innovation projects. There will be a group of digital inclusion, scaling social impact internationally, employment innovation models, and cooperation for social innovation. These are the topics. How is it done? There will be questions and harvesting Padlets you can fill in. There will be a small input of the breakout session host, just to inspire you to start the discussion, to give an example, a practice example. And then in the breakout session, you discuss with other good practices, you know what you can learn and transfer from that. And then please put results in the harvesting templates. The templates will be shared or screen shared from your breakout host, and the breakout host know how to proceed on that. And then we have a very small break and come back in the big plenary, and there will be a 90 seconds harvesting pitch from each group. And then we have a very brief look through the templates, but the templates will be shared later on because there will be a lot of information in there. One very important thing as well is after the break, please bring a glass to drink and to toast with you. It can be juice, it can be milk, it can be mineral water, it can be something sparkly. You can decide. It can be coffee, whatever you prefer, but just make sure when after the breakout session and break at 12, bring something to drink so we can toast and celebrate, because this is the final event of Social iMakers and we want to toast on social innovation. So please bring something to drink after the breakout sessions. About the breakout sessions, for a good mixture and equal group size, it will be randomized groups. And so with very different background, you can share different experiences, and there's the highest output of that. And yeah, we hope you have a very nice breakout session, and it will be like 30 minutes. And the host knows what to do: share the template link, give us short inspirational input about the project, and share your own ideas and projects you know.
So whatever happens at 12 o'clock back in plenary. 12 o'clock we're meeting back in the big room, exactly at midday.
With something to drink, and then we harvest and have to pitch and maybe get some strawberries. Then let the breakout sessions begin.
All right, it's 12 o'clock. So the last half an hour really the time to see the results, harvest, celebrate. I would first, Leo, ask you to stop screen sharing and that we can have the gallery view again together. So we see the people here. And a very, very short energizer, a very easy one, because you're always sitting at your same place here in your home office or maybe at the office. So I would ask you, those who want to join, simply look around in your room where you're sitting now and find, for instance, something black, something where you see the color black, and touch it, and choose something where you have to stretch a bit or maybe have to get up shortly to touch it. So I have something black, for instance, there in the back. So touch shortly something black you find in your surroundings. Now for the next one, do you have something red where you are sitting? Anything within reach that is red where you have to stretch it? Here I have a book up here. So red and black. Let's see, let's go for a challenge. Do you have something yellow? If you're in office, you have an advantage. Maybe you have a post-it around somewhere. Nice. And last one, look around and see if there's any, oh, thank you for showing, Ingrid. Yeah. See if there's any object that you can show to us in the camera now that might be interesting. Anything close to you, for instance. I have here a golden elephant from Nepal, from a nice trip to India and Nepal. Anything around you that you can grab and show into the camera can be interesting. Fortunately, we don't have time to talk about it. Aha, butterflies, flowers, lots of flowers, nice. Drinks, photos, nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let's see what happened in the last breakout session, Leo, right?
Correct. I brought the strawberries with me. The strawberries are there for, like, as a symbol for harvest. I actually really love being harvesting themselves out in the fields. In Austria, we have like this pick yourself fields, and you just pay what you pick and take home. And I usually eat a lot, and it's the same with the breakout sessions. You know, you eat a lot, you learn a lot. There's a lot you shared, you take with you, and there are just a few berries you picked, and we just share now one berry each group, like the highlight of every breakout session group. So let's start with the first one, digital inclusion. Judith, can you give us a highlight? What was going on in your group?
Okay, 90 seconds. And I need 5 seconds to apologize in my group because I didn't even say goodbye. The time was over and we were in the middle of discussion. So thank you, my group, for being so productive. And I'll share with you the good practice projects we talked about. It's a digital competence profile for social integration enterprises. So 200 competencies will be online very soon. On the Padlet, you will find the website. And another project was a project about the acknowledgement of individual digital skills and the development of learning goals. Also a project developed within one social integration enterprise in Austria, in Upper Austria. So 2 very concrete tools. We talked about Comet, a very good tool for competence raster, and about some learning. So we said accessibility is key, and we talked about the leaders and leadership in organizations. And we said that it is very important that the leadership in an organization really is in favor of the topic and is willing to fight for the topic. And third, inspiration, we had all the networks have to spread the information among the members. All the networks, the networks task is to really help organizations in spreading the information, spreading the message, and making a boost and a move forward within social innovation, and in this case, digital inclusion. And no organization should do it alone. We should do it in networks and all together.
Thank you, Judith, for the highlight of your group, the harvesting of digital inclusion. There's briefly the Padlet. We will share the links of all the Padlets later in the end of the event, so you can have a closer look. Thank you very much. Then I ask Andrea from the group Scaling Social Impact Internationally, please share your highlights with us.
Yes, I presented one project, and that was the transnational pilot project of social makers, where we could see that we and hear that we developed an academy for social innovators in our social makers project. And the aim of the transnational pilot project was to scale this material and all the tools that were developed there to a new target group, and that was young people in Central Europe. I did tell the story of the implementation of this project, where the biggest learnings were that when you plan to scale, whether nationally, internationally, copy pasting everything will not work. What works in one environment with one target group, it will not work fully the same way in another setup. So be prepared for adjustments, be prepared to changes in the product itself, but also what is very important, be prepared to involve new stakeholders and to work with new stakeholders, and diversify your financing as well. And above all, change your mindset. Go for it.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for the highlights of your group. Thank you very much. Then I jump to the third one, employment innovation models. Vedrana, can you share some highlights, please?
Yes. So we have basically discussed about two major projects. So the first one was the Polish, the ROPS one, the Social Innovation Incubators, with their focus on social policy and target groups which are disabled people. And they have managed a very, very big success with over 200 innovations made for many people in Poland. And you know that Poland is a very huge country, and it consists of 16 regions. And they use these innovations to teach the decision makers and the end users on the advantages and benefits of this kind of social innovations. They're usually provided or implemented by the public funds, and they really promote these solutions in order for the policy decision makers and the end users to choose the most suitable options or option. And the other one was the one from Modena, of course, the very important idea.
One highlight is enough, because we share the links to the Padlets later on. But thanks a lot. I can see you can scroll down and find more information. Thank you very much. Thank you for your good work. Then we go further with Agata, innovation sharing approach. Please share a highlight of your group.
Yeah, so I went through the description of Polish local pilot, because innovation sharing approach is our outcome. Our highlights would be not being repetitive without social innovation field, because our innovation sharing approach method is all about it, to use it to implement already existing innovations, not to repeat them and repeat the whole process, just being more efficient and use already existing ones. We were focused on second and third stage of innovation sharing approach, which is creating databases of innovations and creating collaborations. Our main highlight then would be involvement of public institutions in the process of implementing social innovations. We discussed the importance of their involvement, their how to make them interested in using social innovations. And as you can see on Padlet, if you scroll down, on the left side, you will see a nice example that Matteo gave us from his region in Italy about another platform where innovations are shared.
Thank you, Agata, for sharing a highlight of further details. We can check out the Padlets later. Thank you very much for your good work to all. And thank you for everyone in the group, sure. Then I ask Clara, can you share your group, Cooperation for Social Innovation, one of the highlights, please?
Yes, thank you also to my group. My colleague Martina, she briefly presented a project that we were, a network that kind of we created within the network of Arbeit Plus over the past couple of months, or she mainly created it. We called it the Mask Force because it's the effort to bring together all the work integration social enterprises that were already active in sewing and upcycling when it became, like briefly became it before it became mandatory to wear facial masks in public and in stores and in public transport. And it was this effort to connect all those enterprises, to exchange knowledge, and also to make it possible that they can produce bigger amounts of masks in order to sell it, and to have a bigger network and more possibilities in order to for sales and distribution. And it was a very inspiring network and a very inspiring activity for us at Arbeit Plus for many reasons. Because there was a lot of enthusiasm within the network. There was a lot of very positive feedback from the participating organizations and from the workers at the social enterprises that started producing facial masks. For instance, there is one very remote area in Austria, and from there, from a social enterprise which is working with women, there came the feedback that for the first time in a long time, they now feel appreciation for their work, and that they are involved in something bigger and societal change.
Thank you, Clara. We have to make it brief and short. Thank you for the harvest. And I remind you again, I mean, in the discussion, a lot of things were shared. There's even more information in the Padlets. Thank you very much, but we can only pick one fruit per group. Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone. I've been jumping through different groups, and I've seen so many good talks and discussions, and so much different projects were presented. Thank you very much for everyone here being present, and thank you again for the good harvest and pitch. So I hand over again to my colleague, Markus.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So it's the last 15 minutes of the event, and we will look back at the achievements and outcomes of the whole project. And so now in this, we have time for some closing statements, and there is something we would like to share with you still, for which I give the word to Barbara Glinza, who we already had today when she presented the community strategy as one of the highlights. So that we see a bit about the big picture and social innovation and our possible commitment to it. Barbara, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I will try to share my screen. You should all now see.
Yes, it works.
Perfect. So just to give you a really short background in the process of the strategy building process, the final thing is not only a strategy and an action plan, but also what Davide, who likes to use powerful statements and words, called the Manifesto for Social Innovation in Central Europe. And based on all the process that we have on building the strategy, we came up with 4 bullet points that make up now our manifesto. You can see it covers a lot of aspects. So in this manifesto, we pledge for raising awareness for social innovation and social entrepreneurship among stakeholders of the ecosystem, and make social innovation known as a crucial and very important avenue to tackle societal challenges, also covering environmental and economical issues. We will try to join forces to advance formal and informal education for social innovation at all educational levels. Join forces, build networks, or become engaged in already existing networks to facilitate peer learning among social innovators. I think also a lot of the best practices you shared have this aim, and work together to lobby for positive political change for social innovation. on a European level and on a local level, and for better social public procurement and social finance. If you agree more or less with our manifesto, I would really ask you now to give us maybe a thumbs up or some kind of applause. You can do that by choosing the reaction. Thank you, Andrea. I can see that you already did a thumbs up. Or you could even do it in your camera and like it. And this was all from my side. And once again, thank you for everyone who contributed and helped us with crafting the strategy.
Thank you, Barbara, for the manifesto. It's getting very solemn and dignified here. Very nice. To give also visibility. Okay, thank you, Barbara. You can stop sharing.
I'll try.
To give visibility also to all the actors, that contributed so much here and have this commitment to social innovation. Here, the logos of all the partners of the project. So also a big thank you for all the effort, commitment, also throughout all the networks that you have. And for our nice brackets, Davide from the lead partner, Fondazione Democenter-Sipe, was an opening speaker today. And so now I'm happy to pass the floor again to Davide to close the bracket. Don't leave after Davide's speech. We still have a little thing, Leo and me. But Davide, I'm very happy to pass the floor to you now for having a little bit of look back at the project and maybe a toast to social innovation.
Thank you, Marcus. Well, look back to the project means think back in the last 3 years. And the main thing that I would underline is that it was really an amazing challenge. We find together all the partnership, and the thing that will remain as the main added value that we were able to create by my side is the capability of being jointly creative and entering in the fact we were able to face very interesting challenge. Some example, developing an academy, so the visual identity, the logic, and the metaphor that has been developed to try to catch the people and to understand the language that we were trying to spread was really amazing. The same happened for the pilots, and the same happened more or less for the daily activities. Telling the truth, it was really an amazing partnership. More than for the skills that each of us share with the other, also again for the generosity. So thank you very much for all the partnership. Another thank you has to be spent for the JS that support us in the administrative and in the implementation of the project constantly and very proactively. So all run in a very interesting way for the last 3 years. But I'm still convinced that the best has yet to come. And we are waiting for the next very interesting activity that will be implemented, because the platform will stay alive, and we are trying to understand how to manage and how to run the activities on such a platform. Our academy will remain available, so really the best has yet to come. But we are supposed to toast to something, and with a very sad glass of water, because the bottle of wine is on the other part of the screen. I would toast to the word that is singing, the young guy that is playing the guitar in our cartoon, that is easily, together we can make a change. So if I want to toast to social innovation, I think that together we can make a change. So thank you to everyone, and now we can toast, I bet.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, toast. I've unmuted everybody, so everybody can say cheers.
Cheers. Yay, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Celebrate yourselves. It's the closure of the project. You can tap your shoulders.
Yeah.
Good job. You can go on yourself. Thank you, Davide, for these nice closing words. So we hope with this we had a symbolic closure of the project, also an appreciation of the achievements, and as Davide said, also the bridge to the future. The best is yet to come. No? And our commitment to social innovation stays, as we saw also in the manifesto from Barbara. So now in the last 10 minutes, first 2 minutes for Olaja to show us what she's produced so far on the meeting of today. Maybe Olaja, you can walk us through some of the highlights. Just shortly, 2 minutes.
Yes, I'll be glad. So it will appear in a second. In general, it has been a full of information meeting that I will for sure have to remake the visual because there is so many quotes and very interesting experiences and examples that you have shared. But what has been, let's say, a highlight is from the beginning in the welcome by our host, this idea of that in order to create this change and to enhance the social innovation, there was also this need for a new language, a new grammar, a new mindset and ways of seeing things and new perspectives in order to strengthen the communities and to unite all the different actors that we have in society. Then we had as well a lot of good examples here that showed how successful and how much impact they created in their local communities. And then moving on this, let's say, again, the need of changing not only the environment around, but also ourselves, and the idea of updating, reinventing the systems and reinventing the mindsets, starting with ourselves, as Joana well said. So a lot of highlight on the very much importance that we as individuals have as well. And here, well, the breakout groups were full of discussion. So as well, a lot of details and a lot of good practices that can be scaled to different realities. So yeah, overall, this is a bit what it looks like. And it's not the final form, so we will send you the full picture with even more details.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Olaja.
you very much. Thank you very much. It looks amazing. It really looks amazing. I'm so much looking forward to look even more in depth into the graphic recording. I almost put my nose on the screen to see everything. It's really cool. Thanks for your very good work. And as well, for all of you, thank you for your work, for your contribution, for being here, being interactive part, to exchange, to share, to listen, to ask good questions. Thank you so much. Being here online with us for more than 3 hours. It's so cool. It's very cool. And I'm very, very, very happy to have you everyone here. Now I would love you to see to give us some feedback. There are 2 possibilities. There will be the link soon in the chat. You can click there, or you can go to the website menti.com and put in the code, which is on the top. And if you're there, you can type in 1 to 3 words which describe this event, like today, this event today, boosting change through social innovation. 3 words which describe it best for you as a feedback. And put every word in one line. Yeah, I can already see some answers coming up. Nice. Perfect. Fun, interactive, excellent, inspiration, international. Oh my God, thanks. Joy. Awesome. Oh, that's one of my favorite words. I use it a lot too. Thank you so much for your feedback. You can go on giving feedback. There's a second slide, a second question we ask you. So if you fill in, then you can go to the next slide. Now you can type in more feedback. What would you like to say about this event? You can say thank you, or what was not so good, or what you take home, or what inspired you for the next project, or you can even type in, oh my God, I want the strawberries too, but why don't I got strawberries? Whatever. You can type in things here. And while things are showing up on the second question, I go back to the first. Yeah, more and more words showing up. That's very nice. Future, excellent. Open-minded, funny, grounded. Boosting, partnership, cooperation.
And inspiration, the biggest one in the middle. That's very nice to see, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for all the feedback. We will read everything later on, and you can as well see the results. Thank you. Thank you again for being here with us. It's an amazing event. It was really fun being here with you, especially in the breakout groups. Very good discussions, very good talks, a lot of sharing.
The best online event seen during coronavirus. Nice. I hope you also saw other online events, because maybe it was the best and only one. Well, Leo, I guess with this we're closing, no?
Yeah,
also to give people a chance for their lunch. So thank you so much. We will leave the room still open if you want to network, chit-chat. We're officially closing now this event. We will still leave the slide a bit and then go back to gallery view. So if you want to still stay with us for informal talk, we're very happy about anyone staying. Room will be open 20 minutes still. And if you leave, you can also simply unmute your mic and say ciao, see you next time, leave something in the chat. Leo and me, we really want to say thank you. We enjoyed a lot, or I cannot speak for Leo, so I enjoyed a lot the moderation.
Definitely.
And also thank you, Leo, for this work with you and the core team, Jan, Marcella, Martina, Olaja.
We thank you too from Arbeit Plus. It's been a pleasure to work with you, and we stay in touch. And
thank you for everyone contributing. It was a very good puzzle, good harvest. Thanks a lot.